this has been going on a while now where I'd be painting an abstract kind of painting and you'd be thinking you're doing great. And then you step back, you look at it, and it's like, it could be better if I do this. Up until then, you've been flowing along nicely. No decisions really that you're consciously aware of. Then when you consciously make a decision, you fuck it up. You're like, fuck, what was that? What happened there? But when you just go straight at it, boom, boom, and it's happy days. But even then, weeks and months later, you're starting to see, like, different stages where there's something going on in and around. It's nearly like a sculpture come to life with all these other little orbiting characters. So you'd have to wonder. I mean, I was watching a few interviews there a while back with other artists. There's one artist in Canada up in the mountains somewhere. I think he did a lot of landscapes and whatnot and other things. But he was going on about, I think at the time he was after doing a painting for the Queen of England. And now you all know my name's thing is not good, so I'll forget his name. But anyway, that's not what I'm talking about it for. So he's going on about his process and how he struggled and struggled. Because he'd be painting and he'd be like, great. And then he'd make a decision and same kind of, there was a parallel. And then he'd be painting later on in life and he said he felt like a passenger. And that got my attention because that's what it's kind of like. You feel like a passenger nearly in the middle of painting it. So some things stick in your mind. So that rung a bell. And then there was another artist who seemed mad enough to go that full hog, and he stopped painting whatever he was painting. I think he might have been doing landscapes too, but he stopped after a while because he needed a white canvas, and you might get, we'd say, burnt sienna or burnt umber or whatever, wash it on just to get rid of the white of the canvas. And you could see all the brush mark, and he'd be just going frantically at it. And he'd leave, come back when it's dry, and he'd sit down across the studio looking at the canvas. And in no time at all, he's starting to make out all these kind of weird and wonderful creatures and characters, and he started to bring them out. Because he had to work quickly, because it's, one of those things. And that became his thing. It was like a Stephen King novel. But so that's why I'm thinking now when I'm looking at The Witch Dancer, for example. It's kind of wrecking my head because I had loads of ideas for other paintings, but I can't get my head around this question. So it's kind of riddled me this. Who painted the painting? I was talking with a buddy of mine last night about it, and you could go on for hours and just more questions. But I think it's one that you should draw a line under and try to at least have a go off of it. So I'm thinking, like I said, do a bit of Sherlock Holmes on it. Divide and conquer. I mean, I see a freaking big red bear there. And over here then, where is he? There's a cool looking head there. And there's, I don't know, there's something there. There. It looks nearly, you could make out some kind of Chinese scene, like 1800s, 1600 kind of job. You know, the prints that they used to do. Be like that kind of a thing. And the more I look at it, the more clear it becomes. So you'd be thinking, should I fucking make it clearer or just leave it hang kind of vaguely there? So it's kind of stopped me from starting new paintings because I want to kind of get to the bottom of this before I go on, because it's pointless painting paintings unless you're understanding what you're doing. And you won't, I don't think this isn't a fucking academic issue. This is it's an individual issue. And I don't think I'm the only one who's in this place, asking the question. So what do you think? I think it could get very a very big headache. Just a funny little thought that became a funny little question that is now a riddle that is scratching my brain. So, ask the questions first, I suppose. I mean, when I was doing that, I had initially, when I was looking at it, try to go quickly, keep in it. And I was saying there was like a diamond shaped head there, and it could have been a clown or whatever. But I opted immediately to go, because I saw feminine elements that I could bring out, and it would make, for me, had a better vibe about it. So I went with that. I mean, who wants a clown on their wall, you know? Then there was, it was like there was someone as I'm looking at it, to the left of them, in a red smoky background, wearing a kind of a cap, as if they were watching the dancer. And I liked that. I thought, that's cool. But then there's stuff coming out there. I mean, there's stuff there that's just, it's cool, but it's like, how did that get there? It's like it was intended, you know? When I'm looking at it now, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Definitely 7. 8. Definitely 8 that I could highlight. But you'd be like, what the fuck? So I think it's time to dig deeper into just, I mean, it's a visual thing, so it's hard to talk about it. You know what I mean? You can have all these things in your head, but when you try to articulate it, yeah, it's a crash. So I will try to get some answers. But it's kind of, it's like, yeah, but the more you think about it, the quieter you're getting. And you think, fuck, ooh, it could get crazy. And here comes the crazy. It's pissing. Do you have? Yummy. So you know when you do a thing, you know, you create something, your idea, you think, and then you're thinking, is it is it my idea? So I was thinking, I wrote it down, because you know what it's like, to take a photograph of the painting, color, and then get a black and white photograph, and make like get a big board, put the two of them there, and then zoom in on where I see these other scenes and characters, and just frame that scene there, photograph, put it on the board, photograph, and so on. And bring them out, you know, more, give them the detail that refines them more. Get some trippy shit over there, and then see if there's like a pattern, a relationship between all the individual images that are popping up and the main character, would say, and then see if you can imagine a storyline to it, or if there's something obvious there now that they're more, you know, defined. See if the Sherlock Holmes way through, let's say. But I think it's because I'd like to have some understanding, and if I can go, hypothetically, you get your photographs and make your little board and study the images and then just say, okay, 1, and then maybe down here 2, it's close, then this one is 3, and so on and so forth. And then just put them in a line, and just see if you can get a storyline on that. I mean, it's like reverse engineering a painting, but it's not. It's more, well, it is, but it's. Is there something you missed, or is there something that has absolutely nothing to do with you? You just so happen to be the one who picked up a brush in that particular mood, that particular time, and there was a message in a bottle, so to speak, and you got it, and you painted it. You just didn't realize you were painting it. Wouldn't that be a trip? I think that would be a fucking trip. I mean, you get all the images, you know, you tune it up so you can see it clearly, and then you look at the colours, and then you can go and, if you want, look at all the various psychological associations with those colours. It's just fucking layer after layer. I wonder do people get that when they're looking at a painting? Is that the trip they go on? Is that the journey in their own little mind? Imagining a scenario and then projecting, oh, he knows so much about this thing that he painted. Like, no, I don't. Reminds me of a painting I did 12 years ago, 13 years ago maybe. It was a failed painting, and it was just, it was there. I had already finished a large painting, and this was there. I was in a studio in Fermoy, and I think it was just kind of a woman with long hair, just kind of looking out. And I used these colours. I didn't want to just leave them dry up, so I said, fuck it, I'll use this mix on that painting that didn't work. And I completely transformed the painting, and I was very happy with it. I thought it looked cool. And I had it hanging in a local coffee shop, Tartan at the time. And that was that. It was grand. It had no name on it. It's just kind of... And I was in the post office then a few weeks later, maybe a few months later, and a lady in the post office was talking about that painting to me. She gave me all this in-depth storyline that she read from the painting, and I was like, the way you'd be like, just agree, just to be polite, because they seem to be so convinced of what they're doing, and what harm is it, like, for all I know, that's exactly what it is. So I'm like, you got it, that's exactly what it is. And her take on it was that you're looking at a soul of someone before they were born. I don't know how she got that from it, but it was a lovely way she went about explaining it. So I told her she was right. I told her I actually was on my way up there now. I had paint in a shoulder bag, and I was going up to sign it, and I was going to call it pre-birth. She loved that painting. So now that I have these questions that I'll attempt to kind of investigate and find some kind of resolution on it, I'm wondering, is it like, all those nuances, because it seems nuanced right now, that everyone who looks at it, people who like to look at paintings, which I like to think is most people in their private time, that they see the same fucking thing, but they are giving you credit because your name is on the painting, and you're like, I don't know where that came from. So are we all just going around fucking with what you call that show? What is that story? The Emperor's New Clothes, that kind of a trip, where everyone's saying yeah, but no one fucking knows what's going on. Yeah, it's I might have even finished that too quickly now that I think about it. It's like fragmented. Over here there's a lovely kind of harmony to an image. I mean, I could cut that off and it could be a painting in and of itself. And then the centre part, and maybe take that bit out at the bottom, that could be a painting by itself. And that quarter over there, and then this here. So you've 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6. I see 6 in one, potentially 7. So that's what I mean. Are you painting something on such a subconscious level that you are oblivious to it in the waking day? And it's kind of just flirting with you. Peekaboo. I see you. And you see fucking nothing. You just, you know you've seen something out of the corner of your eye, but you look and there's nothing there, and you're a little bit nervy. Can you hear in the back of your neck? Is he a little bit? Dun 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 dun. That kind of trip. So that's where we are. Gotta look into this because I can't be going. I had so many fucking things I wanted to do, but now I'm like, I'm hooked on this. Like, what's that about? Enough is enough. Let's figure this shit out. Could be that you find nothing out and you're like, I don't know. Just fucking paint anyway. Because like I said, you could be just the glass holding the bear. The glass is no, it's not in control of anything. It's the illusion. It's a trip. This guy is bad now. Everyone, I'm looking at them all differently now. It's not about just like painting pretty pictures for trying to make money and shit. That's kind of old world at this stage. You're like a mad scientist in the tower now trying to communicate with something that you probably have no business communicating with or knocking on the door with. Or maybe you do, maybe you should. Things come calling, you gotta open the door like. So I'm kind of it's a peach. It's a puzzle. It's a conundrum. All of the above. Fuck it, I'm gonna do another one this week anyway while I'm investigating that one. I really like it. You could just look at it for ages, you know what I mean? It's the best movie I've seen in a long time. Trippy. Very trippy. Very trippy. Geez, you know what would be a bad buzz if you were there by the time you do your investigation and you go on, and because you got the 2 kids in the house and they're watching all these fucking goofy movies. Wouldn't it be a thing if I started seeing that's what it is? It's the slug in that fucking Monsters Inc. movie, or it's something out of fucking Avatar. Because they watch a movie a million times. Just not just once, watch it. And it's like, as the credits are going up, watch it again. Like, what? So you watch it 100 times. Maybe it's that sleeping in. But I doubt it, because there's a lot of, I suppose, initially creepy fucking looking things in there. They... You want the lights to go kind of thing. Getting very fucking Yoda on shit lately. The paintings, the archery, work, stonework, philosophical. How bad? How bad? It's a beautiful thing. Yeah, I'm definitely feeling it now. I think we're gonna have to paint painting. I wonder actually that I started, which is kind of painting I started a few weeks ago, and it's like witch dance, in the sense that it's like, okay, just kind of calm your mind, put a canvas on the easel, and just go. See what happens. Just fucking paint the canvas with the colours you want. Play with it. Happy days. And then, it comes to a stage where you kind of feel like, okay, I'll stop now and I'll look at that for a while, and then you start seeing those things again. So that's where I am now. I'm seeing things there. It's like looking at the clouds. You look at the clouds, you think, oh, I see whatever you see. It's kind of like that. But when you see it, you can't not see it. So I have to, like with this one, you see things as you're going, and you're deciding quickly because you want to paint it quickly to see how it will come out. And here we are now with all these questions. So this one is a smaller one. This week now I'll work on that, and I'll just go slowly, and I'll look at the whole collection of whatever they are, and I'll start trying to bring them out, and let's see where that goes. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting for sure.